Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
David, we'll be discussing the entrepreneurial success which you've enjoyed at a very young age. But first, I'd like to hear about your early career.
Hey, Karl, thanks so much for having me on. Yeah, no, of course, yeah. So, my early career, nothing really special. It's funny, I don't come from a money background or, anything like that. I'm originally from Crumlin, went to local school during the castle. Funny enough, I didn't do well in school, so I got 280 points in my leaving cert. I was a CD student, and it was really when I left school, I suppose, I really kind of started to find my feet, and I was always interested in business. So I went on to do a bachelor's in business management at Tala IT and was really fortunate to get a scholarship to do my master's in Smurfit. I then done a master's in Smurfit in management consultancy, and then went on to work in PwC, so Price Waterhouse, one of the big four, for 6.5 years.
Now tell us about where the idea for Hemp Heroes came from.
Yeah, so funny enough, it actually came from another side hustle I started while I was in PwC. So I started managing some friends of mine who were professional fighters. So one of them at the time was fighting for UFC, which would be one of the largest MMA organizations, and then another friend for Bellator. And I'd got them sponsored by some kind of different Irish brands, so like Chopped, Ross Nutrition, and interestingly, Mattress Mick was one of our sponsors at one point, which was quite an interesting collaboration. Inadvertently, I got them sponsored by 2 different CBD brands. So this would have been probably 2017, and CBD was still very new. Interesting, a lot of golfers and athletes were using it for recovery and for sleep. So that's kind of what started the idea for Hemp Heroes.
So what are the misconceptions regarding hemp and its benefits amongst the general public?
It's a long list, Karl. So the term cannabis is actually a term for a family of plants. And unfortunately, I suppose we've demonized the term. So if I was to say you were a cannabis user, most people would think you're getting high. In cannabis, in the family, you have 2 main sides. So you've basically hemp on one side and you've marijuana on the other. Hemp is like your non-alcoholic beer. It's very low in THC. And THC is the chemical that gets you high. Where on the other side, marijuana or weed is extremely high in THC. So that's nearly like drinking a bottle of vodka, for example. So although they might be from the same family, they're genetically polar opposites. So hemp is non-intoxicating, where actual, I suppose, weed is highly intoxicating. So that would be one of the biggest misconceptions, because regularly we'll have people say, oh, will this get me high? And it absolutely won't get you high. It's non-intoxicating, and you can drive your car and everything else. It's completely fine to take.
Our conversation today is all about hemp. So what are the benefits?
Yeah, so I suppose there's a lot of people who use hemp and CBD products as a supplement. All of our products are food supplements, so we're not medical products. But what I can tell you anecdotally, probably 60% of our consumers use our products for sleep. They find it really good for helping with deep sleep and overall quality of sleep. Then I'd say a large portion of our customers use it also for stress and anxiety. I personally use it for public speaking, so anytime I do any big talks in front of large crowds, it is really helpful for kind of helping with the nerves. And then equally on the pet side, we have a huge amount of customers who use it on their pets for anxiety and joint issues.
So talk to me about the product range that you currently have.
Yeah, so we have 26 different hemp-based products, which are all made in Ireland. So we're a seed-to-shelf hemp company. So essentially what that means is we work with hemp farmers in Ireland and across Europe. We take in raw hemp and we manufacture into finished goods. So all of our products are made in our facility down in Wicklow, which is a HSE HACCP-approved facility. And the way we make our products is quite unique. So we cold press. So what cold press means is it's basically high pressure and low heat. So we don't use any solvents.
How many hemp farms are there in Ireland?
Hemp is massively underfunded. So there is, I suppose, a lot of people who are interested in growing hemp. Unfortunately, there's not really the subsidies there or the government assistance to, I suppose, make it more mainstream. There's probably around maybe 80 to 100 hemp farmers across Ireland.
And have you ever considered entering that space yourself?
I actually, funny enough, have an interesting story. So I did try my hand at growing hemp back in, I think, 2018, 2019. And I got 2 acres of land in Glendalough. So I rented out the land, hired in local farmers to plough and sow the field and slurry it. So we were going to do it organic. And of all the things I could have imagined, I didn't expect it, but we had issues with wild deer and they ate absolutely everything.
And in terms of the product itself, what other ingredients are in it?
So in ours, we keep it very simple and straightforward, and everything's completely natural. Like the hemp we use is all organic. So, for example, in our drops, which a lot of people would use for like sleep and stress, it's our cold pressed CBD, and then we use MCT oil. It's fractured coconut oil, which is our fat soluble, because CBD needs to be mixed with a fat soluble to be absorbed. And then we've natural food flavourings in there to help with the kind of, I suppose, earthy taste. CBD and kind of cannabinoids have been around since hemp has been around. So like hemp has a huge history. It goes back as far as Egypt. Hemp has been consumed throughout history and throughout mankind, and was probably one of the first agricultural crops to be grown at a large scale. Interestingly, there's a really cool campaign that was ran during World War II called Hemp for Victory. And the US government actually encouraged farmers in the US to grow hemp to help with the war effort for like military clothing, parachutes. So in terms of the formula, it's a naturally occurring chemical in hemp. It's always been there. It's just that in the last number of years, people have, I suppose, seen the benefits from it. And there's been that kind of influx of people wanting to use hemp and CBD products.
And of course, one of the markets you have for these products is for pets. Tell us about that, especially considering the time of the year we're in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like our pets range is huge. We've 10 products in our pets range alone. The interesting thing in CBD, I suppose a lot of people have misconceptions for one, but also maybe fears that it doesn't do anything or it's all placebo. Interestingly, with pets, there is no placebo effect. So it's very clear cut. It either works or it doesn't. And like we have a huge amount of customers who use it for anxiety, for joint issues, for skin problems, and actually recently enough for epilepsy in pets. So at the moment, we're working on a clinical study with the UC Veterinary Hospital, and that's a pain management study for osteoarthritis in dogs.
And I know that one of the other studies that you're about to complete is in relation to sleep. Provide us with an insight into that.
Yeah, so we have 229 five-star reviews on Google, and about 60% of them are for sleep. So we have a huge amount of, I suppose, human customers who find it beneficial for sleep. So we're working with a guy at the moment called Tom Coleman, who'll be one of Ireland's top sleep experts, and he's worked with everyone from the Irish rugby team to a lot of the big corporate banks. And our plan is for him to help us design a sleep study where we can use wearables and our CBD to measure deep sleep and REM sleep and see how it actually impacts the overall quality of sleep.
And David, what's the potential for this business from an export perspective?
Yeah, so export potential is absolutely huge. So like even in our pets range in Ireland at the moment, we're in 80 plus pet stores. We also work with 11 major animal rescues across the country, and they get our products for free every month as part of our Giving Back program. So like our goal is to, I suppose, really expand into the UK and mainland Europe and eventually the US, because it does have a global reach. People have pets pretty much everywhere. They're now, I suppose, considered more like their children and family members than something that lives outside the house. So there's a huge humanization of pets, and especially for our products around Halloween time, they work fantastic for fireworks. So like this is one of our busiest times of the year.
And when you look at the international market, where does Ireland actually stand in terms of its adoption of hemp products?
Funny enough, Ireland would have grown a lot of hemp in the probably early 1920s, 1930s. It would have been used, I suppose, grown quite frequently. It's only in the last number of years it started to really come back into fashion. Ireland's hemp industry wouldn't be as mature as other countries. So, for example, France has a very big hemp industry. It's quite mature. It employs a lot of people, like you're talking thousands of people. Where in Ireland at the moment, it's mainly farmers who are looking to use it as kind of a rotationary crop, an extra revenue source, not like a full-time, I suppose, farming job, if that makes sense.
And what growth have you achieved with the business to date?
Well, I suppose it's been a long, hard slog over the last 5 years. And I also worked full-time for 4 of them years in PwC. So I worked as my way up to manager in Pricewaterhouse through most of the time in building the company. So I only went full-time last year. And I suppose in the last year alone, we've seen phenomenal growth. A lot of it being driven by, I suppose, the research that we're doing with universities. So like we're stocked, as I mentioned, in 80 plus pet stores. We have a handful of health food stores and pharmacies across the country who stock our products. And hopefully by next year we'll have a lot more. So I suppose we've some global ambitions. Going back from the response from consumers and from stores we stock, it is very positive.
And what has been the greatest business lesson that you've learned to date?
There's been a lot of lessons. I would probably say that one of the biggest lessons I've learned is you don't ask, you don't guess. So you really do need to put yourself out there. And unfortunately, you will get a lot of no's, but sometimes you got to get a couple of no's to get a yes. So really, it's putting yourself out there. And interestingly, one of the stores, the pet stores that we stock, they had, I think, 9 stores. They told us no, I think probably 5 or 6 times, and now they're one of our best customers. So you really do have to, I suppose, have that grit and determination to pursue what you're trying to achieve.
And do you have any further entrepreneurial ventures in the pipeline?
Yeah, funny. So I suppose not to rest on my laurels, I'm starting 2 new companies. So one of them is going to be in the drink space. That one is functional health drinks. So not exactly like the hits, but kind of something slightly different where it'll have unique vitamins and minerals in there, which will help with certain things like for sleep, for stress, for focus. And then the other company I'm working on is going to be in the supplement space, which isn't to do with hemp. It's to do with something else, which is quite unique as well.
And David, finally, what advice do you have for any entrepreneur who is starting out on their journey?
Yeah, well, I suppose if you are interested in becoming an entrepreneur or starting a business, I would say think about it very carefully, because being an entrepreneur isn't for everyone. It's not as glamorous as everyone thinks. Like now as an entrepreneur, I probably work more hours than I did working full time, but it is a very rewarding process. So try find something that you're passionate about and you love and really go after it. And the best thing is if you can provide people true, I suppose, value for money, you will succeed. I think that's the key, is like it has to be an exchange of their money for some sort of value. So you want to always over deliver on the value that you give to your consumer. So yeah, find something you're passionate about and go after it and enjoy the process.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.